Even the rabbits are up this morning. For the morning briefing, it is bright and early as I am heading down to the beach right now.
Ready? Oh, yeah!
Glenn Del Mendo was on board the Cortez. He called it epic fishing. 120 to 170 pounders biting at night, 40 to 60 pounders biting in the daytime. Glenn wasn't kidding. Check that catch out. Magnificent fishing on board the Cortez. Tanner and Cortez Bank, about a 90 to 100 mile run for most landings in Southern California as the bite rages on and keeps on going. On September 24th through the 26th, we'll be on board the Apollo, and you are invited for this very special 2-day trip. It is limited to only 21 anglers, includes all meals, and should be fantastic. This is when we have our best weather months in the fall, and the Apollo, they've been on their game this year. Outstanding fishing and really nice weather. Then we're going to switch over to the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California for another 2-day adventure. October 6th through the 8th should be another great trip. Tanner, Cortez Bank, and anywhere else the fish are. Don't forget, text me at 657-227-6459 to get on board the Apollo and or the Amigo. Best weather months of the year, and hopefully lots of fish for you to catch. Good Saturday morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Before the sun has even come up, it's gorgeous down here as the pelicans are flying by. The ocean is flat, calm. You know, we're having our surf fishing day today, right here at 7:30 until 10 a.m. I don't like that kelp on the beach, but don't tell Dan Lightfoot because Dan will just make a U-turn and leave. Besides, I'm not sure that's going to present a problem or not today. We're going to catch lots of surf fish here today. Fingers crossed, it should be a lot of fun. And if you're getting this early and want to drop by, come on by. We're about a mile south of Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. You park down there near Anderson and Pacific Coast Highway, walk out of the beach, make a right, and we'll be here with you all morning long. I met two fine young men. One kid was his first day of surf fishing yesterday afternoon down here, and I said, you guys got to be here this morning. So if you guys are tuning in this morning, first of all, I apologize for not getting your names. Secondly, I hope I see you here this morning. A lot to talk about. We'll go south of the border. The Long Range boys continue to do fantastic. Down in Ensenada, they are seeing a lot of bluefin tuna. But are they biting? And Tanner and Cortez, can it get any better than it is right now? Fabulous fishing going on. 7-pound sand bass yesterday. We'll tell you about who caught that, a guy who's very familiar to the Friedman Adventures family, and so much more. You know what time it is. It's Saturday morning, and it is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, that is so good, and it is so good to be with you all. It's been a remarkable time for me. My grandson Bowden will be coming home today for the Notre Dame Texas game. Later this evening, 4:30, I'm going to be glued to the TV. That is until it gets really, really bad, and then I'll just drop my head in despair and go do something else. No, the Irish are going to win tonight. Notre Dame versus Texas Tech. I know this is not a college football channel. I'll get back to fishing, but I digress for a moment. I've had two grandkids here in the last 6 weeks or so, and there's no way that Notre Dame is going to lose their first game that the kids are on the face of the earth. Is there? I don't know about that. We'll see as the day plays out. Hey, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. Also, share these videos with a friend. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. Also, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts for you, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Lots of other content there. You can also follow me on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel on my carnivore diet, eating only meat mostly, and see how that is working out. So far, so good. All my lab tests are fantastic. I've lost over 20 pounds in the last 6 weeks and full of energy right now. So carnivore diet, you'll see what I'm eating, and I'll take you along on the journey. All right, let's get into the fishing right now, and let's go south of the border. We'll go down to the coastal town in Mexico of Ensenada. It's located 70 miles below the border, and it's a beautiful place to visit. I love the drive, down the Baja Peninsula. I love stopping off and having a fish taco and experiencing the people and culture of Mexico. The fishing down in Ensenada can be outstanding. As a couple of surf fishing guys are headed down to the jetty, it looks like they'll walk into the frame here in one moment. All right, so offshore in Ensenada, they are seeing a ton of bluefin tuna, but that fish has been reluctant to bite, just hasn't wanted to bite quite yet. So we're hoping that is going to change. We've seen fish really close to Todos Santos Island, so close, not a long run at all, maybe an hour, hour and a half to get to the bluefin tuna. Man, have they been teasing us here recently. Victor from Blackfin Sport Fishing says, we're going to send 2 pongas out there this morning, Phil. We're headed out there as you are doing the morning briefing. So we'll get a check on that area again later today and see if it wants to bite. Hopefully it's going to settle in. It's for real sport fishing. However, proves that there's a lot of great inshore fishing going on, from yellowtail to calico bass to excellent rock fishing. I mean, it has been spectacular on the local scene. Lots of nice reds being caught down there by all the boys who are operating out of Ensenada. It's been really, really great fishing. So, as I was saying to you yesterday, if I had to make a choice right now, I'd probably stay inshore and fish all that variety of barracuda flurries down there. Really, really good. Some big bonita, that big yellowtail, and some smaller yellowtail under the birds. That's all fun stuff, and that variety is great. It's for real sport fishing with my friend Louis Prieto. Can't go wrong there. That's another great operator down there in Ensenada. So there you have that. Hopefully that's going to continue to head in the right direction. All right, let's talk long range. Now we're talking several hundred miles down the Baja Peninsula, and down there in that neck of the woods, fishing can't get any better than it has been for the past several months. It's been one of the best summertime long range seasons we've seen in a long time. And I'm talking 7-8 day trips out of San Diego, the journey down the Baja Peninsula. What a fabulous year it has been. First on the 40 to 80 pound yellowfin tuna, it has been phenomenal. You can literally walk back to the stern of the long range vessel you're on, underhand a bait on 60 pound, and you are on underhand a bait on 100 pound. It's full speed on the YFT down there and not slowing down at all. More surf fishing, guys. I'm loving it. Also, there's been some outstanding wahoo fishing down there in that neck of the woods. And the yellowtail bite at times has been phenomenal. For all the long range guys, they've all been in on this great fishing. And then many of the boats will go into the Baja coast where they find outstanding fishing on a mix of big calico bass, some white sea bass. At times, it's wide open on the white sea bass. It's been a great year for sea bass down below the border. And also you see more yellowtail and then copious amounts of colorful and delicious eating rockfish. It's been a season, remember, and that is continuing. So high hopes that is going to continue to head in the right direction. I don't see that slowing down at all. It's been a magnificent year. All right, tax problems. Today's the day when you're going to make those headaches go away. You're going to call Tim Marquez. He's been doing taxes for 35 years. He's a great guy. And if you're sitting around and your air conditioning's not working, man, you got to call John Lopez right now to Fishing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. John is a Friedman Adventures family member. He'll take care of everything. All right, let's talk Tanner and Cortez Bank. Man, it seems like just a few days ago where we couldn't catch a bluefin tuna, or it was difficult to catch a bluefin tuna. We went through that full moon period, had a lot of wind. Now it's just the exact opposite. It is very difficult to find a boat that doesn't have limits of bluefin tuna. I'm going to say most of that fish is 30 to 40 pounds. It's up to 100 pounds at times. Now, I'm talking the daytime fish right now, all right? So the daytime fish is mostly that great. At night, those big ones bit last night, and they continue to bite on 350 to 500 gram jigs, but it has been spectacular. Aztec, limits of bluefin tuna. Thunderbird out of Davies Locker, Newport Beach, limits of bluefin tuna. The Highliner, our buddy Max, on a 2-day trip, limits of bluefin tuna. And there's several other boats. It would be redundant of me to go through them all. Peter Slonsky. Peter, good morning. It is so great to see you with your limits of bluefin tuna. He was on a 1.5-day trip on board the Condor and loved it, said it was fantastic fishing. He also said, I watched the Marcus Fain video you did. Now, I did a live interview with Marcus Fain, who had recently returned from a trip offshore fishing for bluefin tuna. And Marcus went into the most remarkable, detailed explanation of what you needed to do to be successful. Peter said he did exactly what Marcus said, and it paid off huge for him. He highly recommends you go back and watch that video, and so do I. It is really good. Peter said some of the things that Marcus mentioned that were very effective were fishing 25 to 40 pound fluorocarbon, small hooks, choosing a really good hot bait, and the 100-pound mono from the Spectra, 100-pound mono to the fluoro, he said, really worked out well. Boom, he said. He got bit by doing that. And also a couple other things that Marcus mentioned. Sometimes it's a long soak. So soaking your bait for a longer period of time. When you find a really good hot bait, long soak it, and butt hooking your bait made all the difference in the world. Nice going, excellent fishing for Peter on board the Condor. Glenn Del Mendo. Glenn, it was good to see you the other day down there at Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California, where, of course, we filmed Tackle Shop Confessions. 2.5-day trip on board the Cortez. He said was awesome. You saw it on the lead-in. Fantastic fishing on 30 to 50 pound bluefin tuna in the daytime, and then at night, big ones, 120 to 170 pound bluefin tuna chewing on the jigs. Epic fishing. Glenn said it was a trip to remember. El Dorado out of Long Beach for fishing. Limits of bluefin tuna. The Freedom, 22nd Street Landing, 1.5-day trip. Tanner Cortez Bank, 90 to 100-mile run for the boats from San Diego all the way up to the Channel Islands. Limits of bluefin tuna for the Freedom out of 22nd Street Landing. That was 72 BFT, 5 yellowtail, 43 bonita, 47 rockfish. So a real variety there. And some guys are hanging out at San Clemente Island. We'll get into that in a moment when we talk islands with you. But I'll tell you, it has been spectacular. It's actually starting to get light, and I can see that ocean is perfect for surf fishing if this kelp doesn't get in the way. It should be a remarkable morning here. Can't wait to see you all here on the beach this morning. All right, so some really good stuff going on. If you want to go to Catalina Island, do it in style. The El Patron awaits you at Long Beach Sport Fishing. Limited load, fast, great crew, great boat burgers. You can't beat the El Patron. www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Get on the El Patron. And if you're going up north, then you got to visit my dear friend Captain Daniel Hottaway on the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. You're going to love it. Daniel and crew will treat you like you've never been treated before. Customer service is way up here, and the fishing's great. You'll go home with lots of great eating fish. No doubt about that. Get on the Island Spirit by going to VenturaSportFishing.com, or you can give Saul a call. Say hi to Saul for me, 805-676-3474. All right, let's talk islands. What happened to the Coronado Islands? It's been very, very slow. Very poor fishing going on there right now after probably one of the best years I've seen in decades at the islands. Is it a momentary dip or is it over? We don't know. We'll have to watch that very closely. But some boats, many boats had a 0 out there. The San Diego had 3 yellowtail yesterday out of C4 Sport Fishing in San Diego, and they are on their game all the time. So they didn't miss. They just didn't want to bite. That is for sure. Most of the other boats I looked at, they had some barracuda and some calico bass, stuff like that. But for the most part, it was a tough day at the Coronado Islands. So we're hoping that's going to come together. Some of the guys are starting to venture offshore where for full day fishing, guys that leave in the morning, come back that evening, it's been tough. But yesterday, the Grande and deckhand, Scott Buchert, back from Alaska, now decking on the Grande. He sent me some photos. They had 10 bluefin tuna, so not bad at all. Good signal and sign, and high hopes that that is getting ready to bite once again. Who gets the award for being first to the surf fishing day here in Surfside, California? Michael Limon. Michael, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
Pop in here with me. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, you ready to catch some fish?
Heck yeah.
That looks pretty nice back there, doesn't it?
Yeah, no seaweed, nothing.
There's a little bit on the beach there.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
But-
your grandpa doesn't see that. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I'll finish up the morning briefing, and then we're going to catch some fish here, have some fun. All right, Michael Limon makes my morning to see that kid down here. He is all over this. So, all right, there you have it. At the Coronado Islands, pretty darn tough. At San Clemente Island, the Fury picking some sea bass and some yellowtail, and some barracuda, some calico bass, some rockfish. That's been the name of the game at San Clemente Island. Of course, that bluefin tuna is not all that far away from San Clemente Island, and that big fish, some of it is right there, a couple miles away, where you're kite fishing or fly lining for 100 to 200 pound bluefin tuna in the daytime. Most of the guys go out to the bank, Tanner Cortez, where you're assured of a limit of fish right now. But some guys are big game hunters and private boaters, and some of the sport boats just want big fish, and they've been doing pretty well. But the island itself, well, you heard what they're producing at Catalina Island. As we move a little bit closer to home, can we see Cat? No, it's back there in the haze somewhere, 20 miles or so. But Catalina Island, really great variety right now. The pursuit with lots of rockfish and a few bass and barracuda out of 22nd Street Landing. Beautiful over there at the island. They're on their way right now as we speak. So is the El Patron. Real variety of fish with some good calico bass fishing. In fact, let me give you the El Patron's count just to show you the variety that they're catching. They had a yellowtail yesterday. We've been mentioning there's a lot of yellows bouncing around, not catching all that much, but a few. So the El Patron with one yellowtail. They had 3 sculpin, 3 sheephead, 26 whitefish, 38 bonita, 3 barracuda, a triggerfish, 73 calico bass, and a partridge in a pear tree. A little bit early for that, but that's the variety that they're catching out there at Catalina Island right now. Tremendous variety going on. It really is pretty fun fishing at Cat right now. It's not wide open on the exotics. It's not wide open on anything, but you do find some pretty good fishing. And the bonito have been biting really well over there also. Didn't see a ton of bonito yesterday, but enough to make it fun and interesting. That's Catalina Island. Up there in the Channel Islands, a recent explosion on board the Endeavor out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Tucker McCombs with 42 white sea bass. That gives us hope that we're going to see some more of that. But overall, it's been scratchy on the exotics up there, and it's been a situation where, well, we're picking at the rock, not picking at the rockfish, we're creaming the rockfish up there, picking at the exotics like the sea bass and the halibut with that occasional big hit on the fish up there in that neck of the woods. The gray light, how can you beat it? They're fishing in that short water, shallow water. They're fishing like a half-ounce sliding egg sinker, fishing the slider, so lightweight, and they're catching these big sheephead and whitefish. A mix of fish, really fun stuff, I've got to tell you. Awesome stuff going on. The Mirage had a couple of halibut, that recent hit on board. Of course, the Endeavor gives us high hopes that that stuff might bite again, and I'm hoping for Doug Tilk, who's supposed to be here this morning. I'm looking forward to seeing Doug. Doug, who helps us so much with our Friedman Adventures ventures. He's going to be on Monday night, I believe it is, on the Endeavor. High hopes that you get him, Doug. I'll be pulling for you for sure. So up there in the Channel Islands, mostly rockfish. We'll take you up a little bit further north. Santa Barbara, same thing. Vila Beach, Morro Bay, tremendous fishing on the bottom grabbers in San Francisco. They're catching albacore up out of SF right now. Lots of big lings also being taken up in San Francisco. So some fun fishing indeed up there in that neck of the woods. I need to make a trip up to San Francisco one of these days, very, very soon, and cover their bite. I am intrigued by it. Having never fished out of there, I would love to do so really, really soon. So some really good stuff going on. We'll take you now down to the border. San Diego local bite has been spectacular. This is the last weekend of twilight fishing out of Seaforest Sport Fishing in San Diego. You might want to give that a try because they've had some great fishing. Their twilight trip last night had 3 yellowtail, and they're big forkies, 25 to 35 pound forkage, 35 calico bass, some pretty fun fishing on the twilight trips there. Releasing a lot of calico bass, catching sand bass during the daytime. Really excellent year for the local boats out of San Diego. It was a good one. So high hopes that's going to continue down there. And if you want to jump on a twilight tonight, tomorrow night are your last chances this beautiful Labor Day weekend. Also up there at Oceanside and Dana, a lot of calico bass, a lot of shorts, but good action. You know, a little bit of barracuda and bonito and the whitefish and sheephead filling in the sex here in the Long Beach, San Pedro area. We never got going on our season this year, and now summer's over. Well, it's not over, but there's some good calico and sand bass fishing for private boaters, no doubt about that. But for the sport boats, a lot of sculpin and rockfish, that kind of a thing. We haven't seen huge numbers of bass, although they are picking at them here locally. But a lot of sculpin, rockfish up there out of Marina Del Rey. What a twilight trip it was on board the new Del Mar and Marcus Fain. We've already mentioned him. Marcus, love you. What a great trip you had. I think it's time for another live update on twilight bass fishing, how to fish structure with heavy, heavy line and a lead-headed squid. Yeah, I think it's time, Marcus. What a trip. Marcus had a 7-pound sand bass. He had limits of big sand bass. He said they caught sculpin and sand bass, and all the fish they caught, or the vast majority, were big, really nice, big quality stuff. No question about that. Nick Ramirez is going to be twilight fishing tonight on board the Redondo Special. Nick, wishing you all the very, very best. Looking for a report and a good video from you, my friend. Wishing you all the very, very best. Mostly sculpin, rockfish, that kind of stuff up there in that area. And we've already covered the Channel Islands for you all. So now you are up to date on all of that. All right, let's talk surf fishing. Can't wait. We're going to be fishing here. I'll have some video for you shortly before the Notre Dame Texas A&M game. I know I keep talking about that. It's on my mind, okay? Big Irish fan. Always have been, always will be. You know, going to Mass on Sunday, the priest up there on the pulpit brainwashed us about rooting for the Irish. So I got to root for Notre Dame here. My kids, Philip and Patrick, will be doing the same. We're going to be watching that very, very closely. I love the Irish straight up in that game. However, that could go sideways in a hurry. All right, I'm digressing one more time again. Big Fish Bait and Tackle is celebrating our surf fishing day here this morning by offering 10% off. Walk in the door, say Friedman Adventures, and they will promptly usher you out the door. No, they'll give you 10% off. So make sure you do that. Grab some bloodworms, get over here and start fishing with us, and it should be fantastico. We're hoping we're going to catch lots of yellowfin croaker, some spot-fitted croaker, maybe a corbina or two. There's been some halibut around down there in Huntington Beach. We've seen some really good corbina fishing down in that neck of the woods and up there in the Santa Monica Bay. Some corbina also. There's a little bit of bar perch, but the water's pretty warm for that right now. We haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of that. But spot fin croaker, I'm going to put the over-under line at our event today at 6. That's a tough number, and we need some guys who can make a long cast with those bloodworms. But hopefully we'll see that manifest itself here today. Don't forget our inner harbor trips. Friedman Adventures, I go fishing with 2 of you. We can take a maximum of 2 guys on the skiff, and we go through the inner harbors here, and we catch copious amounts of bass and copious amounts of fun. It's really a lot of fun. And there are 2-hour trips and 4-hour trips. You want some information on that? Just send me a text. I'll book you up, and I'll see you, as we've hired a great guide who takes us fishing in San Pedro and Long Beach Harbor. Really great stuff. All right, my friends, Michael Limon wants to get busy and start catching fish, and I don't blame him. It's time to do it. I'm going to head up, do some editing, and then be back down here on the beach for our 7:30 start. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Thank you for making time to join us here on this Labor Day weekend. Wishing you a great Saturday, a wonderful Sunday, a great Monday, too, as we head into Labor Day with each and every one of you. And if I don't see you down here at 7:30 this morning, I hope to see you really, really soon. Take care, my friends.